plus geographical region across globe, and availability zones. Majority of the regions we are having 3 availability zones per region, and the geographies geographies are coming under the CDN, content delivery network. Sorry, the friend, or you can say in Azure service. And this, we discussed about these things, what is cloud computing and IaaS, PaaS, and software as a service things, and the examples are discussed. And also, and you have seen the data centers, regions, availability zones, region phase, geographies, and these we have seen last week. Yeah, this was the coming under picture. Why about the availability zones? Let's say we have one region. Under one region, we have two availability zones. If one availability zone, one side of one data center is fails, and how data will be automatically failed over to another availability zone. So we have a native one functionality that we can say one feature in Azure, which is should be enabled. Yeah, sorry, we can say the definition. I think I did not cover this in the last week, so we are seeing again this availability zone. So availability zone means it is separate physical data center. We see in the India, one is central India and the South India. We differentiated, right? One data center will be there in the central India, one will be there in the South India. So if South India one is fails, and it will be transferred, I mean, the data failover will be go to the another availability zone, which is in the South. And you can see the separation. Zones are kilometers apart. If something, any accident and something, any like zone 1 is not responding, the zone 2 will be responded. So this is how we have a geo redundancy option will be there in Azure. If we that enable, another will automatically it will pick up. So that feature we have. And coming to the India wise, in the central India has 3 availability zones. Zone 1 and Zone 2, Zone 3 will be there. If we use this feature, 1 is fails and 2 will be automatically pick up without the downtime. So you see the zone and versus zone redundancy, that's what you mentioned. Azure automatically replicates across all three zones. Example, geo-redundant storage and zone-redundant SQL, and these things I will show you maybe when we see in the storage account side all these differences.
Hi SuJan, I'm not able to see your screen. This is Asif.
Is it?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm seeing. 1 second.
Yeah.
You should tell me, right?
Sorry?
You should tell me that time only, right? I was thinking that you are seeing my screen.
No, I'm not seeing. Okay, now it's okay. Did you take in the class on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, please share the recording video after completion of the class. Okay.
Sure, will do.
Okay.
So I was telling from here, let's say the availability zones. Under the availability zone, we have 2 options I'm saying. Let's say if one zone is failed, another zone will be automatically picked up to avoid the downtime in the application. You see this, my screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Okay, thank you. And can you go on a mute, please? Yeah. Coming to the Indian region, Central India region, we are having 3 availability zones. One is Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3 like this. One zone and another zone will be kilometers apart. If one zone fails due to any accident or any misuse, and another zone will be automatically pick up when you opt for the zone redundancy service. Okay, and we have a different some examples in the zone redundancy. One is zero redundant storage, and these things I will show you when we discuss about the storage account. That will be better for understanding. The data will be stored in the database and storage account state. You pin the resource to specific zone. Example, VM in zone 1 and disk in zone 1. If the zone dies, the VM dies. So deploy copies in other zones. So these are the zonal services. If something is happening in the zone 1, everything will be gone. If we enable for the zone redundant service, then the data will be replicated across all the available zones. If one fails, another will be picked up. Let's see about the SLA. You know, SLA is service level agreement, right? Why zones matters for internet. Let's say, for any VM, the downtime for a year will be allowed around 8.7 hours based on the 19.9%. This is SLA agreement. If you choose this 2+ VMs in availability set, you can expect half of this hours, right? If you use the 2+ VMs across availability zones, it will be around 52 minutes of downtime. If you go with the multi-region deployment, let's say Central India is one region and South India will be another region, right? If you go with the multi-region deployment, the downtime will be very less. So this is a design concern. If you think as an architect, what is the, like I told you, right? When you design any application in the cloud, you have to consider the downtime as a SLA, as per the SLA. So basically the SLA should be, and keeping the application with the reliable, it should be around 99.99. For effective design, basically we go for the multi-region deployment only. For that, you can see the example here. The maximum downtime we can expect only 5 minutes if we go with the multi-region deployment. That too, why you see 5 minutes also. When you go with the sleepover, it will be around 90 seconds or 60 seconds you can do when you go with the multi-regions in the load balancers level. Let's say one user is sending a request to the application. You configure the front end and the load balancer. So the request first goes to the front end. If the load balancer, which is going to the region 1, is not going to accept array, region 1 is failed, automatically the failover group will be configured in the front end itself. So the front end will drop it to the another active region to serve the traffic. So that's how the design will be. And that example in architecture maybe we can see. So based on that, we can expect maximum 5 minutes of downtime in a year. And this project I can show you maybe end of this session, not this session, once this completed. Azure sessions.
SuJan, just a quick question. Sorry to interrupting you. I'm just trying to take the analogy between AWS and Azure. And in AWS, the region comes first. For example, in AWS, there is a region in Mumbai. We do have a region for Hyderabad. And under that, we have availability zone, which means the small data center, which is going to be part of that region. Okay.
Right.
So they used to call it as a availability zone 1, 2, 3 by default. Now every region comes with minimum 3 availability zone. I believe same analogy also goes for Azure, if I'm not wrong, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now my only question is, if, as you mentioned, multi-region deployment. So so that means my service is going to be managed in two different regions. For example, let's say I'm talking about the EC2, okay, which is nothing but the compute part of that, which is pretty much a regional service. But when it comes
Right.
to, for example, S3, okay, S3 is a kind of global service. So irrespective of which region it belongs to, the service is pretty
Right.
much global. Right. So
Right.
I'm just trying to understand when you say multi-region, is there any service can be get into multiple region? Either it can be a regional or it can be a global. I mean, sorry, again, I come from the AWS background. So that is the reason I am asking that question. What is the point of having that multi-region?
Multi-regions in the sense, in the application level, I'm saying.
Okay. Now,
Let's say
application,
you're
I
not
understand that you want to make it a more resilient. You want to make it, more redundant. And for that matter, in the same region, you can have a multiple availability zone. For example, today, let's say you have selected a region called Hyderabad, and due to, let's say, that should not happen, but due to, let's say, there will be natural calamity, because of that, let's say your data center 1 or 2 is been disrupted, or the impact will be there, and for that matter you have ability zone 3 is there, correct, being in the same region.
Right.
But you are not going from any services from Hyderabad to Mumbai, right? Because sometimes it may happen that a single region is based on, for a single country, there is a single region is also there. Nowadays in India, we have the multiple region. So in such case, having what is the point of having a multi-region tool?
Yeah, we are seeing one example also, right? When you are using availability zones across the, only availability zones, you are saying, one, two availability zones are failed, only 3 is there, then that time also you can expect some downtime, right? You are getting this with a quotient, 99.9%, right?
Yes.
It's a probabilistic method. We are seeing that 52 minutes will be the downtime.
And then how about the latency is going to be taken care? Because let's say you move a service from a Hyderabad data center to a, let's say, Mumbai.
Correct.
Okay? Or let's say you are calling it just south to north or whatever it may be. In that case, the application is going to be pretty much prone to the latency part of that, isn't it?
Correct. So the
How are you
latency
going to
also
take care
will
of
be affected. The latency also we will configure in the front end side, I can say. Let me show you.
Okay. No, maybe I will wait and watch how the things will go. There's thought of asking that question in analogy to how it was for
that
AWS.
also will manage when you create any application in the front end side. So when you create some front door application, here you can configure the maximum kind of the latency or wait time for the application. If the application is not responding more than 30 seconds, the API is not responding for more than 30 seconds, it will pass on to the which one is active one will be there, right? Either it is availability zone we configured, another region we configured in the front door, the request will pass on to that. So we will wait only for 30 seconds or 60 seconds in the front door.
Okay. I'll wait. It is too early for me to ask that question. So you carry on. Sorry for that interruption. Go ahead.
Are you clear, right? Let's pass on. Are you clear on this thing or not? You're asking about latency, right?
Yeah. This is not specifically what I was looking for, but anyway, I'll wait and I'll ask that question at the right time.
Okay, fine. Yeah, this is what we achieve, and availability set and availability zones. Maybe we can expect some interview question kind of is what is availability zone, and you see just the difference. You can see the protection across data centers, entire building can fail. As in a basic example, you see the availability set means protection within one data center, different racks and fault domains and reboot groups and update domains. And some part of the servers or something is not working in one data center, so that we can call it the availability set. Availability zone means it's going up an entire data center. Yeah, availability zone is greater than availability set. Availability set is a part of availability zone, you can say. Each Azure region pairs and geographies. We just see a glance about the region pairs. Each Azure region is paired with another region in the same geography. It has given some distance also, should be more than 300 plus kilometers. And India pair, central India we have one region which is there in the Pune, and the South India we have in Chennai. So these are in a pair, right? So this is called as a region pair. Yeah. You see about this. Did you see this GRS, geo-redundant storage? This will, if you choose this region page, the data will be automatically like replicates to another region. So that's why I told you that when we discuss about the storage account, there you can see all these options. What is GRS storage? What is geo-redundancy? So those things we can see in the storage account service when we are discussing about. So if I say only one thing is there, when other things also there, that's why I told. It's a simply data replication.
I think this makes sense to me when you were talking about availability zone in pair. Sorry, region pair. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You see some important region pairs. If we take the central India, that will be paired with the South India. Geography will be our India. And East US and West US, and North Europe and West Europe, Southeast Asia and East Asia. So these are some region pairs. So in which region we are working on, in which region we are developing our enterprise application, any application. So based on that, we will choose the regions and geographies to avoid the latency. So the latency also depends upon the geography basically. Yeah, and you see what is geography means. It's a discrete marketing containing 2+ regions, which preserves data residency and compliance boundaries. You got it right. Let's say the India, US, Europe, Asia Pacific, and this is an example, right? These are the geographies here. Let's say if you are developing one fintech company, which is Indian company, if you go with other, like if you use other countries, other geography, we can say technically, other geography location, your data is outside of India, right? That will be risky. So that's a concern basically. That's why if we are developing any application, if we choose that specific country, the data will be safe and also latency also will be very less. And also some country like compliance also will be there. If you are developing anything in India, we know that RBI compliances will be there. And this is a ministry. And these things also need some standards and compliances that used to be satisfied. Now just see the glance in the hierarchy. Let's say this is a geography. You can say the India. Under the India, we have a region pairs again, Central India and South India. This is DR boundary, we can say disaster recovery boundary. If Central India is failed, the application serves from the South India. This DR we have to configure as we have to configure and we have to design in terms of DevOps perspective. And the region, the Central India deployment choice. Availability zones will be 3. We have 1, 2, 3. This is availability zones. In terms of the AWS, we can see Southeast, Central India 1A, Central India 1B, 1C, like that it will be there. But in Azure, we can see Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3. It's mentioned clearly, it is a data center failure boundary. Zone 1 will be in one data center, Zone 2 will be in another data center. It will be designed like that, vice versa. Data center means it's nothing but a physical building where we can keep our servers and all power and everything. And sovereign and specialized clouds, we can say. Azure government, physically isolated cloud for US government, separate data centers and screen personals. So this will be controlled by US government. And their head office and everything will be in this region. And the China, they have a separate Azure actually. This will be operated by the Chinese company because their country and the political issues. So they are collaborated with the 21 diameter. If they get any question like that, is Azure the same everywhere? So it will be no, right? The sovereign clouds are isolated instances. It will be somewhere different in the China, somewhere like some complaints are different in the US government. The redundancy storage service in Central India automatically gets your data into which region. It will be South India because it is paired regions, right? Central and South India. That's the reason. And also we see this portal, we go in the regions and count the regions, and we can notice this 1, 2, 3. I'll show. Let's say create some virtual machine. Yeah, we have subscription, Azure subscription one, right, as the hierarchy. So when you click on the drop down under the resource group, we have some resource groups, dev and this one and QA and others as a default one. If you want to create in some specific resource group, you can create first resource like that. You know already the resource group where we can organize our entire resources. We can set SDM. If you click on this region, you can see multiple regions here. The recommended will be South Africa. What is this? You see this: South Africa North and Australia East, Central India, East Asia, Indonesian Central, and we have multiple regions. You can see. If you select any one region, let's say Southeast, when you select the region, it will automatically fetch the availability zones. You can see the zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. We have 3 availability zones under the Central India. If you choose any other thing, let's say Australia East, it will automatically fetch once you select. So these are the design considerations. If you see some UK South, UK West, you can say. You see the difference? Here we don't have any availability zones in the UK West region. So some regions are there, not every region have the availability zones. So in that case, we have to go with the redundancy means we need to design this based on the like you can say we don't have availability zones, then we should go for the multi-region deployment. Why? Because we don't have availability zones means if this region is fails, the application will be dead, right? So if you choose another region and paid region, so the application traffic will route to the active region if this is not working. So that's why. And also you can select, let's say I choose other thing only. Availability zone is and zone options, self-host, self-selected zone, and Azure selected zone. If you this is self-selected means you are selecting zone 1. We can select some option will be there. We can, this is disabled actually here. For some zones, we can specifically select the zones, some regions I'm saying. So for Central India, this option is disabled. When we click this, which zone is active and which zone is more like compliance. So Azure automatically recommend that zone that will attach to our zone region actually. So these are the things. Security type. We have a standard security, trusted launch virtual instances, and confidential virtual instances. And these will be depends upon like the requirement, and also what we can say the pricing also varies based on the security type. If you go with the standard level, this thing will be I'll maybe better I'll give one chart actually prepare in terms of the security type, in terms of the pricing also. We can see maybe in the tomorrow session that. And we can see we can select the images. Now currently by default we'll select the Ubuntu many of the times, and we can see others also, Red Hat and Oracle Linux and SUSE Linux, Windows servers also we can select. And this is simply that the hierarchy we see right under the infrastructure as a service. Azure Cloud is, this is infrastructure as a service. VM is one example for the IaaS, right? All the hypervisor and virtualization, till virtualization, this Azure platform itself supports. So we choose the image. With whatever the image, Windows image, or else a new Linux image, which one you wanted to select, and we need to deploy the resource. So this is how it is, and we create these things. Yeah, maybe we'll see that. Let's complete this this part actually. And also we can see the regions through the CLI also. If you run this command, and it will list the locations. If you create any demo resource group, and that I created it through the GUI. So this we generally call it as a GUI, and this is CLI. You can directly open the CLI panel here, this option, and we have many flavors again here. You can switch to, this is Linux by default to open. If you want PowerShell, you can click on this, it will switch to the PowerShell. And also you can open this in VS Code in the browser also, you can do. I simply running this command. Azure account estimations. List of locations, right? I found the table. You can see all this when an accelerator. Yeah, this is the region display name. East US and West US, and these are the regions. Likewise, you can use the PowerShell, CLI also. You can create and you can, whatever we can do in the UI, and we can, all those things we can do in the CLI. And CLI is more comfortable once you work more on the CLI side. So you love the CLI only. If you wanted to create VMs here, number of VMs, you need to click on key clicks, right? You should click on next and you click all the default, you should select everything. If you go use the CLI means, you can click, you can write the script also directly here, the PowerShell script or Linux script, and how many numbers you wanted to create, and what are the configuration you wanted to give, what are the tags and VM tire and everything you can give, and you can like run one single command. I just show you. Just give me a CLI. So this is effectively we can use Copilot within the cloud itself, within the Azure Cloud itself. This is one big advantage actually. When you get any error also, the Copilot will analyze the error. You just select this. And we need to specify the resource group and suffix also. Yeah, this is how we can run this command and we can create this resources we can set. Anything we can run and write a script also. Write a script to create and we'll discuss more about the CLI and commands also, the structure and everything, and we'll show you if I runs. Yeah, some scenario. Let's say an Indian fintech company will be there. 95% of the users are in India. So for that, RBI compliances are required because it's a fintech company, right? RBI is an apex body for the finance corporations in India. So the choice will be primary, the central India, where we have 3 availability zones, and high availability app VMs spread across all zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, behind a zone redundant load balancer. So this load balancer will route the traffic to one region to another region if one region is not working on zones. Database geo-replicates to South India. Disaster recovery. If some entire zone itself, region itself not working, then it will be this region. Central India region is paired with the South India, right? So we'll use the database geo-replication. That also when we create the database, there we select one, where along with the database, we will create one the failover group. fail FG, we can say failover. That FG we need to mention the database which we created in the South India. We have to maintain two databases. One is in the Central India, one is in the South Indian region. So we will build exactly this in model 4 and how the traffic manager and the model and the multi-region CD continuous deployment. So this one application I created already that I will show you once it's completed. Multi-region package. Active passive and active. Active passive means one region will be active, the primary region where the traffic will serve. The secondary is on standby. Cheaper or slower, failover we can say. It means, let's say you have created two web apps. Active means which region is taking your application traffic, that will be active. The secondary region will be in the off mode. I mean, the provisioning and everything will be completed, but the web apps will be in the off state. You have to off that to avoid the billing. You know, when the application stops serving the traffic and it is not working and down, and you have to turn on the web apps in the other region. So for that case, you will see some downtime actually, some minutes to hours. So this is like a bit cheaper compared with this. If you go with the active, all regions serve traffic simultaneously. It means region 1 and region 2 both will be in the active state only. You will get billing for both regions. So that's why it will be costlier and instant failover. If one region is not responding in 30 seconds, immediately after 30 seconds, other region will be responded, the application will get the problem. And backup and restore. Cheaper DR, just backups in another region. Recovery takes hours. If you configure this, the data will be back up in another region. I mean, database restoration into another region, and you have to link up the connection switch to the application in the backend and to solve the traffic. So this will take more hours, and it will be very cheaper. Minimal code, pilot light. Always run in the DR region. Scale up when disaster hits. You see, like the region, two regions you imagine. One region you are using the higher configuration of VMs and database and everything. In another region, you are using the minimalistic configurations. When the traffic is coming into this region, automatically it will go up and it will auto scales to the required number of memory and CPU in terms of the application bits. Are you clear up to this? Any doubts on this part? Deploying everything in one zone of one region and calling it cloud at shape horizontal auto scaling. Choosing east to west because the tutorial did. Check latency and compromises first. This first point you understood. Let's say when you are using only one region and only one zone itself is failed, then even though you configure the cloud horizontal auto scaling, it won't work right. So these are design criteria actually. When you are designing something, you should not select only one specific region and one specific zone. You should go with your redundant. If something one region is fails and another region should support, so it should satisfy our application traffic. And you should not choose something like when you're architecting any application and infrastructure design, you have to consider which region is having facilitated, this availability zones, and also load some resources, within one region again. You cannot create multiple number of instances sometimes. Those things also we have to see. We have to check the limitations for each region in the Azure documentation while designing anything. Forgetting that VM disks are zonal. VM in zone 1 needs its disk in zone 1 itself. When you create VM in zone 1 and you are taking again disk means it's nothing but a data storage. You are requesting the storage to your VM, additional storage to the VM called as a disk. When you are taking this disk also, it should be from the zone 1 only. If you are taking another zone, that zone is not responding, then your VM will fail, right? The data is not coming in. So that's why don't take this kind of mistakes. If you think like deeply, these are some kind of interview scenarios also. What will happen if you choose only one region, one zone? So that will be a mistake, right? Mixing paid region assumptions. Ignoring egress costs. Data leaving a region costs some money. Keep chatty services together. If data is coming out from your region, it will cost based on the how much the data you are sending outside from the region or from the particular region. That's called as egress, right? If something is coming into your region, that will be an ingress. Inbound and outbound rules you see in the network security group in the VM side. There also you can see the ingress and egress. If something externally is coming to your VM or application, that will be in ingress. If something is going out in terms of storage and request to the user, and everything will be called as egress. And we have to, there will be a pay for the egress. These are some best practices and default to Azure enabled region. Some based on the geographical condition, the Azure itself suggests the recommended things. Central India. And production workloads will be minimum 2 zones. Ideally, it should be 3 zones. Know your region, paid and design DR around it. DR means it's a disaster recovery design. The data and compute should be always in the same region. This will reduce the cost as well as the latency. And this is something about documentation part. Now some basic questions. What is an Azure region? Azure region is a latency defined parameter of data centers connected by dedicated low latency network. Regions is equals to geographic area, availability zones, isolated data center within a region. Minimum zones in the Azure region, 3. What connects Azure? Private high-speed fiber. It will be less than 2 milliseconds connected. You see in the set 2 also availability set and availability zone. Availability set is a part of availability zone. What is the region pair? Pre-assigned partner regions, 300 kilometers apart, we can say. This will be the target actually, redundancy storage target. So which one is nearby from this data center? So that automatically chooses that. To achieve this 99.99% SLA service level agreement for any web app in India, we have to go with the Central India with 3 availability zones. And we have to choose the zone redundancy load balancer. And also mention SQL zone redundancy as well. So this comes under the respective design considerations. When you configure the zero redundant load balancer, the load balancer waits for 30 seconds as we configure. Basically, it will be 30 seconds will be there. If load balancer will wait for the application response for 30 seconds. If application is not responding more than 30 seconds, that will route the traffic to the another region as we configured in the DR, disaster recovery design. A whole region goes down your plan, fail over to the paired regions. GRS storage, geo-replication DB, pre-staged infra via Terraform. This entire infrastructure we can be tracked by Terraform. So this is the bigger advantage of Terraform. If you go with the IAC infrastructure as a whole, when something is failover you see. So that if you have a configuration for one region, you simply use the same entire set of configuration. You can do the adjustments based on that. You can create entire infrastructure required to that application through this script. So that's one mechanism. But when you choose the geo redundancy is enabled in the Terraform scripts, and you give the DR design also in the script, automatically it will create the 2 zones. Are you clear on this point? I'm not satisfied, that's all. Okay, if you are clear, then you just see. Sometimes we don't choose the nearest regions. Why? Because Azure also will recommend some regions to us, right? Not only Central India. So some restrictions will be there in the region. Some are capacity restrictions, and cost also will be depends with respect to the region, and compliance standards also will be there. And these things will be decision making points before choosing the region. And we just see this recap. The cloud is physical, and 300 data centers are there, and 60+ regions are there, and private fiber backbone across the globe. And regions, how to choose? Some parameters are latency, compliance, services, price, and capacity. So these are parameters to decide any region for our architecture application. Availability zones, and 3 per region, and survive data center failure, 99.99% SLA. Automatic DR partner, region placements. If Central India is fails, automatically it will be paired up with South India. And geographies, compliance boundaries, India data stays on in India. Architecture patterns, active, passive, active, pilot light. So these are some architecture patterns. Any questions on till here?
No.
Thank you. And maybe we can see more insight in the cloud and the CLS and CLI and how to write the command, what are the syntax and other features here. That we will see in tomorrow. So that once it is completed, then we can start with the services actually. Virtual machines and networking and security and the design side, the load balancer system and front door. Those things we will discuss one by one. Yeah, anyway, it's 9:45. If you do not have any questions, then we can wind up for today.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining.
చెప్పండి.